And good evening, everybody. This is Michael Filighera. I am with logicalsignals.com and tradershelpingtraders.com. And this is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Monday, September 27th, 2021. Well, as I kind of suspected when I was making last night's update, that there remained a pretty strong possibility that the additional upside that I was looking for would happen during the Globex session. And then that would also be rejected during the Globex session, and that's exactly what happened. What it did, though, is it did provide the top or the completion point for that ABC rebound rally that I was tracking, and that came in at 15,399.25. Almost got to that 400 level, and I really was looking for just a little bit more above that. I didn't get it. Nonetheless, market rejected that. And so I have labeled it, and this is again, I've switched back, as I also alluded to during the updates from last night, that I was going to take a quick review of all that has taken place to see if it isn't possible that this indeed was a 5-wave move down, and this is a wave 2 versus a B wave. It works much better because of the degree in which I'm having to do it, and on an intermediate degree, it would really put a limitation on where the entire wave can come in. If it was an A and a B, we're looking for a C wave to complete a primary level wave A. That just does not, it didn't work real well for me. And it still might be the case. So I've shifted it to the alternate view, and moved this back into the preferred view. And so we'll be running them concurrently. But right now I'm going to be speaking as if this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and we're now in the beginning stages of a intermediate degree 3rd wave down. And it's really going to have the same characteristics, the same intensity, the same point of control as we would be looking for within that C wave down. So we're still not, I'm not changing anything about what the near-term forecast is for some pretty good sized downside moves to take place. Now, let me see if I can get this to open up. Nope. Great how it does that, just to annoy me. All right, so let's see if I can get this thing open. Come on. All right, so I want to get that. Come on, computers. The computer just doesn't want to respond there. That I can see that it really did kind of go up, and that this made a slight new high, a buck higher, and that's where I put that completion point in. So this is really kind of difficult to find. I'm already down to a 30-minute, and I think if I go down even less, I can see it, but I'm now just going to say that this is the completion point for wave 1 of 3. Very good beginning, by the way. And then we have a nice ABC rally, and that should be wave 2 of 3. So in essence, what we're really now beginning is wave 3 of this larger decline. And it should definitely subdivide. So we're in the very beginning stages of that wave 3, maybe 1, maybe 2. I'm not even going to go that far. So I would begin to look for some additional acceleration, definitely dropping below 15,084 and on down from there. Let me go back out to that hourly chart so we can start to put together where our support for this whole move is going to start to come in. As I open this up a little bit, 3rd waves is related to the 1st wave. They're sketchy at best, but what I normally would use is that I definitively would be looking for that 3rd wave to be at least equal to the 1st. That puts us at 14,498, well below that low that we've already seen at what was that, 4,807. So that fits the bill, because I'm definitely looking for this decline to take out the low of that first leg. That's a 14,807. That would fit that bill. But here's the gig. In an impulse wave, there are 5 waves, and 1, 3, and 5 are the actual impulse. 2 corrects 1, 4 corrects 3. So wave 3 is often, most often, the longest and the strongest wave. And it's the wave that normally will contain the point of recognition. And that's usually going to occur in wave 3 of 3. So if we're getting ready to drop into that third wave right now, then we should begin to see some stronger acceleration and then get into a point where it really begins to accelerate, because inside that third, that wave 3 of 3, it's also going to subdivide into its own 5 waves. So it's going to be extended in terms of just the length, and we should see some stronger acceleration kick in. And it should begin, I think, maybe as we start to break below 15,000 again. That's kind of where we saw here, and that just kind of started to kick in. I definitely am looking for it to get below there. Now, that is not the most uncommon 100%, where wave 3 is equal to the same, is equal in length to wave 1. But I'm going much further, because if it's most often the longest and the strongest wave, then I'm going to look down here. 1.618 times the length of wave 1, 1.70 times the length of wave 1, and even 200% times the length of wave 1. So we've got quite a move in front of us where we break below 14,000, which we haven't done in quite some time. And we're going to, my first line of defense or support comes in at 13,941. Then we have the 1.70 at 13,862. And then we have the 200 at 13,596, 97. So we have some pretty strong support levels down below, but they're deeper. And that would fit the wave that I am looking for. And it also just kind of continues the correction that began off of the all-time high. So that remains in place. And what it also kind of suggests, because of the intensity of the downside, we may see a little bit larger, those bounces, those rebounds off of support levels. They may be stronger, and that would be a typical NASDAQ to do that. But because of the volatility increase, I would suspect that the volatility would also increase during a rebound. And so we should get some very, very decent moves going in both directions. And initially, we're looking for down. And if indeed this is 1 and this is 2, and now we're in 3, I don't think they should be wasting any time to get below 15,084, which was the low today. I can get below that and keep on going. So again, maybe that's what it'll take so we get some stronger acceleration. But the other factor that continues to weigh on my mind, while they rallied the Dow and they tried to pull up the S&P, and the Russell rallied fairly strongly today in conjunction with the Dow, the NASDAQ just continued to go lower and lower, and actually was never green all day. It stayed lower all day by 100+ points. So the weakness is already being shown within the NASDAQ. Take a look at our moving averages on the hourly basis. Now look at how they're stacking back up. 200 on top, 50, 20, 8, 4. Now beginning to angle lower, angle lower. Not a good sign for the bulls. Very happy sign for the bears. So being that I'm neither, because we play neutral so that we're able to catch those bounces, we're able to catch the declines. And how we're going to do that? We trade accordingly. We trade to the bars. We trade to price action. We don't trade a big picture on a 5-minute chart. Just won't work. You'll get killed. So here we are again, starting to drop a little bit quicker again. And it's fitting exactly where with what I am or what we should be expecting from the start of a third wave. Start to just take it lower. Now, again, 5-minute chart. These bars, when you can catch this wave, it is a beautiful move. And then you got a follow through, and then you got out here. But maybe you could have shorted it up here, maybe even down when it broke. Here, but say you shorted it at 52 or 15,209. Look where it dropped to. Even if you took $10 or $20 or took it down to the 50, these are very profitable moves. And so you have to keep your focus on what's happening in front of you, because that was also extremely tradable. Okay, one bear wonder, but it was a good pop. It went from 78 back up to 98. So it was a $20 move on a 5-minute chart. Very doable. And then it was replaced. Once you got here, look, that's where your point was. Then it dropped again. And what was the high of that? 95. What's the low? 72. It was another $20 move. These are points of profit. And that's what I'm referring to. Follow price action. Follow the bars. The bars tell the story. How intense is the selling? How deep is it going? What's to the left that could stop it? Nothing. You had to go back several bars to get something that maybe could have put in some support, but it didn't. It kept going. So there was really nothing there. And it broke the 20. Then on a 5-minute chart, broke the 20, broke below the 50, accelerates a little bit more, bounces off, reaches back to the 50, fails, drops again. And then we just kind of, that was the close, and then it just kind of waffles around until we're ready to start again. So profitable in the morning. Profitable trades, a little bit iffy right off the bat, but then we got a nice move. Then we got a little bit of a doji, nice rally. And even though I'm still in my mind thinking, that's it, we're done, we're going to go down, you got to be able to trade these, because you just can't sit with short positions and wait. You'll get killed. So you play both sides, and these bars let you. They continue to tell the story the market's going to, this should have follow through. Now, it didn't always appear that way, but if you follow these strategies, you follow the bars, then you're going to move more into an area where you've seen this picture before, you've seen this happen before, and then you're going to be able to trust that the move will come through. And that's what it's all about. This was a little bit confusing because that's a very, very strong bar, but I'll tell you what, you see that? It's a finishing. Then boom, comes right in. And then you get 2 up bars, and then the downside begins again. So that could have been confusing to a lot of people. That's a huge bullish bar. So you would anticipate there would be follow through again to the upside. But when you took it into the perspective of where it was and what it was doing, it was finishing 5 waves up. So I've been looking for that pullback. Not to say that it could not have, because there are times when I have, even on the 5-minute, because it's building on something bigger, like maybe it was going to start heading up to that 200, which still sat above all of this. So bar by bar. And that's how you play it, and that's how we trade it. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't necessarily stick around and play this against my hourly picture. My hourly picture continues to show weakness. Now I can play that. And what am I going to be expecting? Well, I'm likely going to be expecting the larger moves, slides, to happen to the downside. But when you get enough of them together, boom, 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 there will get a bounce. It will come back in. Enough said. Back out to that hourly chart. This is, again, what I discussed in the trade room. This is how we set up our trade. This is what we do. I'm still now, we're starting to get a little bit weakness showing. I think we should be breaking below, but rallies, I think, are going to be very, very contained. On an hourly basis, I'm not going to look for them to come up. They may come up and test that 20. They may even break it and get to the 50. But look, you've got the 20, the 50, and the 200, all going to be presenting resistance for anything moving up. This is where I'm going to leave it for right now. Our next update will be tomorrow, Tuesday, the 28th.